Good evening, everyone. This is Red Pill 78, and you are joining me for a special late-night Sunday report on something I've been wanting to talk about for a couple of days, but I wanted to see what panned out with the identity of this individual. As I'm sure most of you know, the other day on the 29th, the FBI raided the home of the Clinton Foundation whistleblower. Now, FBI agents raided the home of the recognized Department of Justice whistleblower who privately delivered documents pertaining to the Clinton Foundation and Uranium One. Yes, folks, this is the individual who several months ago kind of made the news and a couple years ago was actually intimidated by the Obama administration and the Obama Justice Department. And was basically, made to feel like he was doing a bad thing by whistleblowing on Uranium One and the Clinton Foundation. So here it goes on to say on the Daily Caller that the Justice Department's Inspector General was informed that the documents this individual show that federal officials failed to investigate potential criminal activity regarding former Secretary of State Hillary Clinton, the Clinton Foundation, and Rosatom, which was the Russian company that purchased Uranium One, and a document reviewed by the Daily Caller Foundation alleges that. The documents that this individual delivered also show that then FBI Director Robert Mueller failed to investigate allegations of criminal misconduct pertaining to Rosatom and to other Russian government entities attached to Uranium One. Now, Mueller is now the special counsel, as we all well know, and he is investigating Trump for supposed Russian collusion. But this whistleblower has proof positive that shows that it's not Trump. It was Mueller, it was Comey, it was Clinton, it was all the people who were jumping up and down and screaming Russia, Russia, Russia about Trump. The individual goes on to say that the Bureau raided my client to see... this is his lawyer. Raided my client to seize what he legally gave Congress about the Clinton Foundation and Uranium One. Basically, they showed up at his house. He identified himself as a federally protected whistleblower. They said, we don't care. They took the documents from him, and then they proceeded to ransack his house for 6 hours. There was 16 agents that came to his home. The gentleman's name was Dennis Nathan Cain. And when this originally came out, they were not identifying him. But he is a former FBI contractor, and he lives in Union Bridge, Maryland. The raid was permitted by a court order signed on November 15th by federal magistrate Stephanie A. Gallagher in the U.S. District Court for Baltimore, and it was obtained by the Daily Caller. Now, there's a couple of different ways that this may be playing out. It could be that this is Ray's FBI entering this person's home and taking the documents to protect him. Maybe they want to get their hands on the documents and they want to make sure that nobody else gets their hands on them. They want to make sure that this guy doesn't get suicided in between now and the time that he is going to be scheduled to testify. Or it could be that the filthy, stinking FBI that was run under James Comey and is currently being run under Christopher Wray went in without any information to the higher-ups, without any information to the people that Trump had put in there, and they wanted to intimidate this guy and give him the idea that if he didn't shut his mouth, he was going to get suicided. Either way, it was kind of scary for him, and I tend to think that if it is the first thing that I postulated, maybe Ray's FBI wants to put a message out there to the deep state, to the people who are shaking in their boots right now, making it seem that they are doing the second, making it seem that they're trying to intimidate him, making it seem like they're getting their hands on the documents and then they're going to get destroyed. They're going to conveniently find their way to an incinerator. But I don't know. We don't know what's going on. Now, I've got Nathan Cain's Twitter account right here. He seems to be a good man. He's a husband, father, U.S. Army vet, cybersecurity expert, and federal whistleblower. He loves God, his country, his family, and he's a patriot. Nate, I would have to agree with you. You are certainly a patriot. You have done in several decades what no other person was either able to or willing to do. You went up against the Clintons, and you went up the incredible strength of the machine that was our co-opted U.S. government. And I've got mad respect for Nate Cain. This guy has got nerves of steel. Gotta love it. So, Nate seems to be a real good guy. The fact that he would want to go and do something like this, it proves that he does love his country. It proves that he is willing to go through the appropriate channels to put his neck on the line and to help our government, which is now hopefully mostly run by white hats, do the right thing. Do what has not been done in all these years, as we sat by and watched Hillary Clinton and all of her cronies just abuse the system, just railroad over people, use every possible aspect of their privilege and their position to enrich themselves and to murder and harm innocent people. Just the disgusting things. Now, let's see here. I've got another really good article here from the Epoch Times. I definitely recommend the Epoch Times. I like them. So they go on to say that if anyone tells you they are tired of nothing happening with regard to ongoing investigations, perhaps they should take a closer look at a number of events that came to light over the past few days. In a matter that caused no small amount of worry and consternation among supporters of President Donald Trump, the Daily Caller, as we just showed, reported on November 29th that the FBI had raided the home of whistleblower Dennis Nathan Cain. The raid, which took place on November 19th, involved 16 FBI agents who had obtained a court order signed on November 15th by federal magistrate Stephanie A. Gallagher in the U.S. District Court for Baltimore, according to the Daily Caller. No reason for the 10-day delay between the raid and his lawyer's public announcement was given. Cain, whose name is new to the public, isn't just any whistleblower. He retains a top-level security clearance and maintains a number of security-related credentials, according to his resume, which has since been deleted online. Specialties include the FISA Amendment Act, Section 702, and USS ID SP0018 minimization procedures and signals intelligence authorities. I think that there's probably a couple of buzzwords in there that people are getting excited about. According to the article, Cain privately delivered documents pertaining to the Clinton Foundation and Uranium One to a government watchdog, according to the whistleblower's attorney. The Justice Department's Inspector General was informed that the documents show that federal officials failed to investigate potential criminal activity regarding former Secretary of State Hillary Clinton, the Clinton Foundation, and Rosatom, the Russian company that purchased Uranium One. This is just mind-blowing because it was Mueller that was running the FBI at the time that this malfeasance was taking place, these illegal activities. Cain also had obtained official whistleblower status from DOJ Inspector General Michael Horowitz. Michael Sakaris, Cain's lawyer, told the Daily Caller that Cain had met with a senior member of Horowitz's office and delivered a flash drive along with a sealed envelope containing documents. The same materials reportedly were also delivered to the Senate and House Intelligence Committees. The FBI agent seized all of the original documents in Cain's possession, according to Sakaris. The Daily Caller said that one document they reviewed showed that then FBI Director Robert Mueller failed to investigate allegations of criminal misconduct pertaining to Rosatom and to other government entities attached to Uranium One. How the Daily Caller was able to review any documents following what was reported to be a full seizure remains unexplained. So maybe perhaps they were leaked the information by the white hats that were involved in this operation. I don't know, just speculating. There have been strong reactions to the news, with many perceiving it as some sort of cover-up. However, a few facts are worth entertaining. Regardless of the FBI's seizure, both IG Horowitz and the House and Senate Intelligence Committees already have the documents in their possession. The FBI seizure of documents from Cain doesn't indicate the documents are being hidden. As noted in the article, the FBI agents obtained a court order, which means their identities are known. FBI Director Chris Wray, if he doesn't already know, could easily determine the agents' identities. This wasn't a clandestine operation. See, this fact right here is what's making me think that perhaps this is an effort to keep this guy safe and to keep those documents safe, maybe keep them in more than one official place because, who knows, somebody might do something horrible to the Office of the Inspector General and destroy the records. Stranger things have happened. There was a 757 that disappeared into the Pentagon many years ago. Let's see. Another possible issue might have to do with Cain himself. Very little is known about him other than that he's a whistleblower, which generally conveys images of positive actions taken by a well-intentioned individual. However, we know nothing of Cain's true motivations or the actions that lay behind them. It may turn out that an invasive raid by the FBI was fully warranted. I would say probably not. That's just what I'm picking up. Another explanation may lie within the documents themselves. The FBI's actions may be related to chain of custody issues. That's kind of what their excuse always is when they go after these things. The FBI may have been required to ensure that all evidence was accumulated and taken into their custody. It's possible this document seizure by the FBI may indicate a case against the Clintons and or their foundation is actively underway. Boom. That's what I believe. I believe that there is a case against the Clintons actively underway. I believe that John Huber is spearheading that investigation. And I think that when John comes before the Senate Intelligence Committee, or is the Judicial Committee? I don't know. I have to look it up. When he testifies this week, I think we're going to get a whiff of what that might be. Now, there was also the Chicago raid. The FBI raid on Cain's house wasn't the only one. Also, on November 29th, the day that this original story was reported, federal agents raided the offices of Alderman Edward Burke, a powerful Chicago politician who has held his position in Chicago politics for 50 years. Burke's office windows were covered, and FBI agents remained on the premises for about 7 hours, according to media reports. Chicago Mayor Rahm Emanuel, close confidant of Barack Obama, who abruptly announced in September that he would not seek re-election, much like many of the ill-intentioned people in the government today, said that his office had no advance warning of the raid, noting, "I know what I read in the paper. I'm out here. That's it. You are asking hypotheticals, and I am not going to do that with the FBI walking around his office." Burke, who has been under federal scrutiny on several occasions, have never been convicted or indicted. His investigation is being handled by the Public Corruption Squad from the local FBI office. Burke's law firm specializes in property tax reductions for his clients, and some have speculated that the raid could be connected to work that Burke's law firm did for the president, but there are several problems with that theory. Many years ago, Burke helped Trump lower his tax liability on a building by like $14 million or something like that. And when this story was originally reported, all of the mainstream media reports that were coming out were highlighting this. They were saying, oh, this is, the IRS and the FBI going after Trump's tax returns, and Burke's got the goods, and Trump's going down. I'm sure you all saw it on Twitter. The Burke investigation, according to the Chicago Tribune, was being conducted in conjunction with the U.S. Attorney's Office in Chicago, not Mueller's office. Additionally, the Sun-Times reported the raids were in response to new allegations and not prompted by any past controversies that have swirled around Burke. Dan Mcauliffe, a reporter for WBEZ in Chicago, was somewhat more direct. Worth also noting today, Burke's huge role in the local Democratic judge-making process. One judge just told me, everyone's crapping themselves here. You gotta love it. The investigation probably has more to do with corrupt Chicago politics than anything related to the president. I'd have to agree on that one, too. Chicago is just about the most corrupt city in the United States. Money laundering probes. 2 other events with a more international scope have also been underway. Several banks are currently under investigation for a massive money laundering scandal that is likely to grow only larger. Danske Bank is being investigated by the U.S. Department of Justice, and new charges were filed this week by Danish authorities. The bank's CEO and chairman both have been forced to resign, and numerous current employees are under investigation. Danske Bank has admitted that approximately $230 billion has flowed through one of its units in Estonia, but the focus now appears to be shifting to other financial institutions. Howard Wilkinson, a former Danske Bank AS manager who blew the whistle on its multi-billion-dollar laundromat, told lawmakers in Brussels that when it comes to shell companies or limited liability companies, the UK is worst of all. He said he was legally prevented from naming the other banks involved, but urged lawmakers to treat the Danske scandal as a case that goes well beyond its core in Estonia. Now, there was another report that I couldn't find, but I saw it the other day, and someone at Danske Bank admitted to a reporter that this raid was directly related to the Panama Papers. I don't know if everybody remembers that, but that was a leak that came out sometime last year, and it essentially blew the whistle and the lid wide open on the worldwide global money laundering scheme that people in the positions of power like this that handle billions of dollars were using. It was a system, a complicated system of shell companies, and then accounts, and tracing it all over across the world, so that essentially money would just get lost, and then you wash it, and then people can go ahead and spend it on stuff like trafficking children, or they can launder the money from trafficking children. Also on November 29th, Deutsche Bank's headquarters was also raided by German officials. Transactions being examined by investigators relate to the bank's wealth management division, which previously has come under scrutiny. And here it is. According to a spokeswoman for prosecutors, the investigation covers the 5-year period from 2013 to 2018 as related to disclosures made in the Panama Papers. 11.5 million leaked documents from Panamanian law firm Mossack Fonseca, then the world's fourth biggest provider of offshore services. The Deutsche Bank raids continued for a second day and reportedly include the executive management board's floor. Deutsche Bank was one of Danske Bank's correspondent banks, as are JP Morgan Chase and Bank of America. Any potential involvement of other banks will bear close watching. And Clinton donor charged. Lastly, in a November 29th DOJ press release, 3 executives, including Abdul Huda Faruqi, were charged for their roles in a scheme to defraud U.S. military contracts in Afghanistan, engaging in illegal commerce in Iran, and laundering money internationally. Faruqi was the CEO of Untitled, a defense contractor based in the UAE. This wasn't the first time Faruqi or his company have been involved in allegations of misconduct. In a 2013 article by the Daily Caller, headlined, "Clinton Donors Get a Pass on Shady Contracting," Faruqi and his company were highlighted. In June 2011, the Defense Department's Office of the Special Inspector General for Iraq Reconstruction, say that 5 times fast, released a scathing report on a defense contracting company called Untitled. The title of the report and its conclusion were the same. Poor government oversight of Untitled and its subcontracting procedures allow questionable costs to go undetected. Now, worth noting is that the Pentagon audit was recently completed. So it begs the question, does this have anything to do with the findings of that audit? The article then asked a simple question. Given prior violations, how was Untitled able to secure an $8 billion contract in Afghanistan that allowed it to illegally ship supplies through 2 Iranian border crossings and a seaport controlled by the Iranian Revolutionary Guard? The $8 billion contract, along with the illegal shipment of supplies being cited in the 2013 article, appear to be exactly the same violations being alleged in the 2018 DOJ indictment. So why weren't Faruqi and his company charged with these same known violations back in 2013? That's a good question. I wonder if it has anything to do with Barack Obama and his administration, because that's who was in power. That's who was running things. It's the same people that were doing dirty deeds with Hillary Clinton. The answer may lie within Faruqi's many connections to the Democratic Party. There we go. The Daily Caller notes that Faruqi is a longtime donor to Senator Dianne Feinstein, Democrat California, and donated to Obama for America in 2008. But Faruqi's closest ties lie with the Clintons and their foundation. Here we go. Faruqi, a member of the now shuttered Clinton Global Initiative, participated in an annual CGI meetings since the group's formation in 2005. Through at least 2010, and made multiple donations to the Clinton Foundation. Faruqi also made donations to Terry McAuliffe. Who else was Terry McAuliffe good friends with? That's right, Andrew McCabe. He donated a whole whopping sum of money to Andrew McCabe's wife when she was running for office. And he was photographed with Huma Abedin. There appears to be a common thread among what might appear to be unrelated events. The raid on the whistleblower, the raid on the Chicago politician, the investigations of European banks, and the charges brought against a Clinton donor. All the activities targeted were either occurring during the Obama era, there we are, and in the case of the DOJ whistleblower, were directly related to underlying events from that time. There may be more going on than meets the casual eye. Great reporting from Jeff Carlson. I think that Jeff's summation at the end of the article is exactly right. There is no coincidence. There's no such thing as coincidence. All of these investigations are related, and each of these people are going to get nailed to the wall, or they're going to talk about the people who are handling them in our government. You can bet that these bankers don't care about anybody but themselves, and especially an arms dealer and somebody who's a member of the Clinton Global Initiative. He probably got a lot of perks from his position there. And we all know the disgusting things that get run through places like the UAE. Money, power, drugs, guns, weapons, children, all of it. All of it. All right, one more thing I had. This is from the information on the first Clinton whistleblower. Here we are. So the other night, on the 30th, right before news of George H.W. Bush's death broke, Q started posting and brought me to this report from Hannity with Sarah Carter and John Solomon.
There's something percolating that probably will break Monday. Do either one, you're both smiling, do either one of you want to give the audience, well, a little heads up?
I'll give you some breaking news right now, Sean. Just 2 hours
Solomon could not wait to get that out.
ago, federal prosecutors assigned to John Huber, the U.S. attorney investigating the Clintons, reached out to a whistleblower in the Clinton Foundation. The first time we've seen contact between a Clinton Foundation whistleblower and that particular federal office. That just happened tonight.
Okay, a second Clinton Foundation whistleblower. A completely new one. The birds are starting to sing. People see the writing on the walls, and they do not want to end up at the gallows with Hillary Clinton and her closest friends. Now, when I saw this report, I started thinking, who could the next Clinton Foundation whistleblower be? The first person that came to mind was Eric Braverman. If anybody knows George Webb, then they know Eric Braverman. But I have mixed feelings about George, to say the least. There have been times where I thought that his reporting was revelatory. There have been other times where I wanted to reach through the screen and ask him what the heck he was thinking when he said that. But there have been times where the things that he said I thought really hit home. I think that he did a lot of good work trying to expose the child trafficking rat lines, the drug running rat lines. So I give George major respect. And George, if you're listening, no harm intended. But there's a lot of problems. So George posted here on Twitter, and Nate actually retweeted it. Here we are. John Solomon of The Hill disclosed tonight that a member of the Clinton Foundation is cooperating with the Huber Clinton Foundation probe. That person is Justin Cooper, and he will get immunity. Justin proxies from Braverman, so there is a second source to back up Cooper. Have a great weekend. All right, so who is Justin Cooper? This is the website idraintheswamp.com. Justin Cooper, it says here, one of the Bill Clinton aides who helped set up Hillary Clinton's secret email system, was suspected by Chelsea Clinton of uploading spyware on Clinton Foundation computers, new emails released by WikiLeaks show. This is from 2016 Daily Caller report. The former first daughter alleged that longtime Bill Clinton aide Justin Cooper was caught red-handed uploading spyware to two Clinton Foundation employees' computers. Clinton also claimed that another Bill Clinton aide, Oscar Flores, believed that Cooper was reading his emails. Cooper was interviewed several times by the FBI as part of its investigation of Hillary Clinton's private email system. The aide helped develop the system along with Brian Pagliano, a former Clinton campaign official who would go on to work at the State Department. So, at this time, I think Justin knew that he was knee-deep in the shit. Excuse me, pardon my language. Maybe he was trying to bug people's emails and get copies of it so that he could use it as evidence. Maybe he was interviewed several times by the FBI, either to get that evidence or more than likely at this time to keep him quiet. I don't know. But it's 11:55 on Sunday night, and before too long, we're going to find out. Thank you, everybody, so much for your comments. Thanks for coming and checking out my videos. I really appreciate it. If you could, go check out my Twitter, RedPill78, and continue to share my stuff, continue to comment, and let me know if you've got any thoughts on any of this stuff. This is great news as far as I'm concerned. Everybody have a great night. We'll see you tomorrow.